Welcome back to Behind the Gloves. I'm Gas Singh, and I'm delighted to be joined by one of the greatest fighters that's ever walked the face of the planet, Mr. Roy Jones Jr. Roy, how are you?
Doing great, my brother. How you doing?
I'm very well, thanks for asking. We're still in January, so it's probably still okay to ask, but how was your Christmas? How was your New Year's?
All of it was really good. Enjoyed it. I was alive. Had COVID for a minute, but I beat that, so I'm good.
Perfect. Well, glad you got over COVID. So obviously Gold Star Promotions and West London Boxing Academy have brought you down to London today. What you did in London today?
I enjoy myself. You know, I always enjoy myself in London. Love trying to teach these kids some things, giving them a bit of advice about boxing, about life, and just trying to tell them what God can do for you if you only believe.
Perfect. And how important are clubs like this to communities all over the world, whether you're from America or whether you're from the UK or Europe?
They're very important because it gives the kids something to do to keep them out of trouble. Give them something where they can develop their minds, develop their skills, to hone their skills. And most kids, especially boys, are full of testosterone, so they need somewhere to have a release. If they don't have a gym or something like this to have a release, they just get in trouble.
I just want to kind of jump straight into it. Chris Eubank Jr. takes on Liam Williams over in Wales, February 5th. How's Junior looking in camp?
Junior looking really good. Today they got a week. They got one week left. He's looking really good in sparring. Looking really good in training. Love working with Junior because he always wants to learn.
And do you know much about his opponent, Liam Williams?
Yeah, I know Liam. Liam's a very good fighter, very strong fighter. It's just that I don't know how long he can hold it. So I think pace would be the toughest thing for him. But Liam is a really good fighter. You know, yeah, he's not bad at all.
And in your mind, how does that fight play out? Does Chris Eubank get to him?
I think Chris will get to him. It's just a matter of time and matter how quick he can get to him. But you can't give up too much while you're getting to him. So I don't want Chris to take many shots, but Liam is a good puncher too. So you don't want to take many shots while you're trying to get to him.
And there's been a few questions around Liam Williams going to train with Adam Booth, someone who used to train Chris Eubank. Do you think that's mind games? Do you think that will play a part in the whole build-up?
I don't know. For me, it's not a mind game. For me, it's like this. You can get whoever to train you want to train you, but they can't change who you are. Trainers don't make fighters. Trainers can build a fighter, but they can't make him fight. At some point, he got to have a heart to go on his own. So no matter what trainer you got, you can't give them a heart. So they got to have that their own self. So yeah, Booth may bring some techniques in that may help him out some, but in the long run, it's going to come down to his heart. And Booth can't give him that. Neither can I.
And I'm going to push you for a prediction. How does it end?
I think he's going to stop him, but I mean, Liam Williams is a good fighter, so you never know. Liam has good punching power too. So it's a fight that can go Chris way by win, by decision, or Chris way by knockout.
Perfect. And I want you to kind of think with your analyst and commentator head on next. So obviously now Dillian Whyte against Tyson Fury has been announced, which means AJ is going to go ahead in his rematch with Usyk. If you were to give him any advice how to beat the smaller man, what would it be?
Be the same as before. You must bully a small man. Simple.
Surely there's more to it than that in terms of tactics you have to employ, because rushing in is not a good move against Usyk, right?
Not rushing in, you just got to bully him. You got to know how to, you got to smart, you got to tactfully bully him.
And if the opportunity arose for yourself to train AJ, would that be something you'd be open to?
Of course. I mean, AJ's a great fighter, great talent. Just needs to be taught a few more tricks of the trade, which I know. And of course I would train. I would love to train. He's a good guy. People love him. He kind of reminds me a lot of myself as far as how people feel about him. People love AJ. And for that to be said, that means you got to be a pretty good person. But people don't love you if you're fake. They love AJ. So I would love to have him if I could, you know.
And in terms of the other big fight that's been announced, obviously Tyson Fury against Dillian Whyte. What do you think of that fight, and what's your prediction for it?
Of course, Dillian Whyte is a good fighter too, but Tyson Fury is one of the smarter guys fighting right now. And if Tyson comes ready, motivated, and in shape, he's a very hard one to beat, you know. So.
And just a couple of questions about yourself before we kind of finish up. Will we see Roy Jones Jr. in the ring again?
Who knows? You know, the old legend never dies. Who knows?
And back in September 2021, we got Yo Must Have Forgot Part 2. Are we going to get Can't Be Touched Part 2? That's my personal favorite song of yours.
It's very hard to top Can't Be Touched. Y'all Must Forgot could be top, well, not really top, but it could be duplicated because the first version wasn't really a radio version. It was more of a myself song. The second version now is a radio version, so you can make that better. But if it can't be touched, it can't be touched. So it's best to leave it alone.
And just to find a couple of things, what would your advice be to young amateur fighters who are trying to make it in the game?
Be smart about what you do. Remember the art of boxing. The art of boxing is to hit and not get hit. Try to preserve yourself as long as you can. Take as least punishment as possible to get the most done.
Perfect. And just a message for everybody that's supported you over the years and everybody that's going to keep supporting you as you carry on in boxing, whatever you do.
Thank you all for all your support. Never meant no harm to nobody. I always wish the best for everybody. I just want to be an entertainer. I hope I entertain y'all to the best of my ability. Look forward to hopefully building a new Roy Jones coming one day. And thank you guys for always supporting me.
Perfect. Roy Jones Jr., thank you so much for taking time out to speak to Behind the Gloves. We'll catch up with you soon.
Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do so by clicking this icon right here, or else.